Welcome back to the rrlinx training videos. Thomas Bartke here, and we are in the link presets submenu here under the presets, and we're going to look in detail about what's going on here. So these are the values that are by default being entered into every new link that you're generating. So if you watched the video before where we were in the link manager and where we just created one link after the other, quick, just by clicking. And what happens there under the hood is that rrlinx inserts the values that are specific to the item that the link, the short link is made for, and it inserts them in a dynamic and meaningful way into every individual link, so you don't have to set up all these internal values manually yourself. Okay, so the syntax is always all the same. So you can edit this here, you can change it, right? You can come in here and well, let's say you want to use as your default UTM source. You don't want to use FB, you want to use Facebook. There's a specific reason why I'm using FB, and I'll explain that later. But let's say you want to use something else, and you can change that here, right? So I'm going to put it back to FB. If you can see here, for example, there's a combination of merge fields and fixed values in here. So for example, organic, that never changes, right? That's a static part of this particular default item. So organic, the dashes are also static, right? So that's how I separate it. And the merge fields then pertain to the specific items that are addressed in the link. So let's go through the merge fields in detail. Item slug, well, that is the part of the URL that shows up after your domain name, well, after all this is done, right? So in this case, product, right? It's the domain name, then products, and now this here, the next piece. So it's basically the link to the product. That is the slug, right? If you're in a campaign, the campaign also has a slug like that after collection. So I mean, if you're in a collection, the collection also has a slug just like this, and you see it like that, and the pages are just the same. So that's the slug, and this is unique to the product, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to address different products the same way. So therefore, putting the product slug into the parameters as a merge field is a good idea. So it's a meaningful thing to do. And as you can see it here, we're actually using it in the default settings. We're using it in several places. So for example, item slug, it's right here. It's in the default UTM campaign. We're also using it in the actual campaign name right here, right? So next one down, item title. Well, what do you think that is? That is, of course, the title, in this case, of the product. So this would be the product title, and it's different from the product slug, right? You can see the difference here. This is the slug, and this is the actual title. Okay, so that's what happens when you put item title in here. So you could, for example, say, well, item slug, I don't really like to see my campaign name like that. I'm just going to put item title in here. And so what you could do is just do this, right, like that. And then when you save it, what happens when you now go back to Link Manager and you create another link, and let's say we're going to use the same type of product again, the same product again, and let's just create a link like this, and you can see here that's the difference, right? Now the product title has been merged into the campaign name and not the product slug as in this one. Okay, so that's the difference. There's a difference right there, and collapse that again. Okay, so you see, still, no matter how you merge this, even if the campaign name is actually different, it will still filter down to the same product. So what matters here is the destination URL. It's not the actual name in the campaign that provides the filter, but actually the campaign, the destination link. All right. Okay, so let's go back here to the link presets where we were. Let's continue to go through the filters here. So item sub count, that is looking at, so how many links are there already for that same item, for that same destination. And when you use that as a merge field, it will just simply increment that count and add this so that you have a unique value for each link that you're building for the same item. And that's how you use item sub count. Item ID, that is the actual item ID from Shopify. So you could use that as well. Short URL, you can merge the actual short URL, which is automatically generated. You can merge that into any of the values here. So you could merge, you could use that in the UTM parameters, for example, right? You could merge short URL into one of these, for example, the content. So let's try that, okay? Let's put the short URL right here, and you can put it in there as an additional value like this. Short URL, and then short link ID, that's an internal ID that is specific to rrlinx, and it's a unique ID that is going to be across all rrlinx users. So I don't know how useful that's going to be for you, but still, it's going to be a unique ID among all of the short links that you have in your particular store. So let's save that, and let's take a quick look at how this short URL merges into the default UTM content value when we generate another link. And as you can see, so what happens here as we're creating more links, the old links are not affected. They're not going to get changed by adding. Let's pick the same one again. Then the old links, the existing links, are not changing when you change the default presets here, right? The default presets only affect links moving forward that are generated in the future after you make changes and save them there. Okay, so let's inspect this here. Let's go to the edit view, and let's go into the UTM parameters, and right here you have the actual slug that is generated for that short link. Right? It's merged into here, so you might want to use that and make it useful as well. Okay, so that's all about the link presets. I'm going to tell you about the masking domain and the tracking code in a separate video.